first day is, like I said, I'm trying something different because I thought it would be, not all personal training and training stuff is exercise technique. A lot of it is also about program design, understanding exercise selection, things like that. So I thought maybe at least once every, maybe not, I don't know if it'd be every month or every other month, that I'd split the meeting up into like a theory and practical. So on the theory side, I want to start going over program design, elements of program design, exercise planning. So with that, let's just ask the group, what is a program? What is an exercise program?
I was going to say a structured routine.
Okay, structured routine.
Yeah, it's like a group of exercises according to your client's abilities.
Okay, do you have an idea? A recipe. I actually really like that one. Recipe is really good. It's a plan. It's a plan. And I don't think you always have to have a plan, but I do firmly believe that a plan is better than no plan, right? So with exercise planning, we can break things up and we could say, well, we could just plan a workout. So what's a workout? What's a workout? What's a workout to you? What's a workout to you?
Exercise that gets you sweaty.
Okay, what's a workout to you?
I was going to say a variety of exercises.
Okay, it could be that. And there's no wrong answer, right? No wrong answer. It kind of depends on the human being what a workout is, because it's a pretty broad, actually, description. It could be a lot of things. Is Zumba a workout? Okay, is yoga a workout? Is playing with ropes and tying up horses to stalls and stuff? People, that's a different that's a different seminar, which I could teach. But moving on, God help us, that's not usable. Moving on, it's all right. I digress. So it's very generic, is my point, right? It depends on the human, like what a workout is. Getting up and going to the bathroom for some people is workout. And that's not to put them down, it's a reality of where they are, right? So what is the difference between working out and this other word we use, training?
I would say training is more structured, more like...
I like that, structured.
Strict.
Okay.
I was going to say maybe it's more goal-oriented, like if you're training for something.
It has a purpose. I love that. It has a purpose. It has a design, right? And that's where we get into like what is program design. We use the word design in programming on purpose because it's a plan with a specific goal or intent, right? And there's a lot of different programs and plans out there, and none of them are bad. Even the ones you think are like, that makes no sense at all, it's still a plan. So it's probably better than nothing, more than likely. Now, some programs are what I call intuitive training, right? They are programs that have kind of a recipe, a list of protocols or ideas, and then you kind of day by day decide how you're going to structure that for you. So leaves a lot of room for you to decide on any given day how you want to proceed, how hard you want to make it, etc., right? Then there are programs that are very, very specific. The plan has, this is the exercise you're doing, the weights, the reps, the sets, everything, even the rest is planned and programmed, right? And neither is necessarily wrong. I think that most beginning athletes, clients, etc., do better on more strict structured programs than they do on intuitive training. I think when you become more advanced, you better understand your body, its limitations, and how to be intuitive about your training. So that's, in my mind, in my opinion, a more advanced thing for somebody to go into. Some people take to it very naturally, and I think that's really cool, but most do not, right? If you think about how many people here, first of all, they don't have a clue what's going on half the time, but even if they did, if you just left it up, like, well, make your decision on these 3 things, what do you want to do, and how many reps et cetera, they'd be like, I don't know, could you just tell me what to do? Right? Just tell me what to do. I don't know what to do, right? So that's something that's really, I think, helpful in having a plan. Dan John wrote that clients and athletes are like pirates.
We were just talking about pirates.
Arr, right? And, what a coincidence. And the plan, right? The program is a treasure map. And I never knew a pirate that didn't love a treasure map. R. Get to the booty. All right, so, or work on the booty, depends on how you're looking at it. So, program design, it's a design with an intent. So, when you're writing a program, where do you start?
Probably start by establishing like a goal.
I love that. Begin with the end in mind. That's what I think Stephen Covey said that. So begin with the end in mind. So what's the goal, right? So what are some goals that people have specific to training?
Weight loss.
Weight loss. Okay, let's take that. Well, weight loss.
Performance or strength.
Performance or strength. Yeah. Same shit. But we need to get with program design more specific, right? So weight loss, anything could get us there. Just get them moving, adjust their diet, and they're going to do it, right? Improving overall strength, anything will probably get you there if it's even remotely close to good, right? We need something more specific. So what would be a more specific goal for a program?
Maybe like adding like some sort of like time goal in there. Like I want to hit this in 3 months. I'm going to hit this in a year.
That's good. Adding a time to a goal is always a great thing to do because it gives you an idea of structure. It also gives you a deadline. Those are really good things to go on. But what I'm speaking to more specifically is we want to increase a particular capacity. Usually that's what we're trying to do. Are we trying to make the athlete stronger? Are we trying to make the athlete faster? Are we trying to improve the athlete's skill? Are we just trying to teach the skill, right? Or are we trying to improve their conditioning, aerobic conditioning, or how they deal with anaerobic and lactic acid? All of those are capacities that if you write a plan well, it will help that person adapt and improve that capacity, right? So beginning with the end in mind, you have a goal, they have weight loss, but let's say most of the plans I write here, not all, we have a lot of different plans that I write, we're geared towards strength, right? Sometimes it also incorporates some mobility, and conditioning is always something I like to put in there, but not for every athlete. What's an example of an athlete where I might not put conditioning in there for him? Actually, I think the powerlifters need some. I like to give them something aerobic unless they're doing something outside of the gym for conditioning. But what's another example? Runners, exactly. Runners are crazy. I love them. I love you runners. But runners will not sacrifice running. You tell them, I need you to take 2 days out of your schedule and they won't come back. You'll never see them again. I've done it. I've seen it. The guy panicked. You could see panic in his face. Like, what? I have a whole spreadsheet and a schedule, and you're telling me I have to change that? Forget it. I'm out. And I never saw him again. So, right, that's brilliant. Runners, endurance athletes in general, I would say martial artists are another one, actually, because they have conditioning, they have training, they have practice, and then they've got their fights and stuff. That's another one where you might not put conditioning in unless it's something specific that they're asking for. If they're asking for it specifically, I need to improve my ability in the ring or in a fight or in a match, possibly, but you got to look at where the limiting factor is. It might actually be strength. They might be getting gassed because they're really just not strong enough, so they're working harder and using up more energy to get the same amount of work done that they could do if they were just stronger. So it depends, right? But runners is great because what you can do is you can give them 1 to 2 days of strength work a week, and it will have a huge impact on their running. And it's easy. You don't have to give them any conditioning work. I like accessory work, like core work. I think it's good for them, but accessory work not. Okay, so good. All right, so when we talk about plans written for strength or whatever the thing is, that's what guides us to the time frame. That's what guides us to what our rep ranges are going to be, what kind of intensity we're going to be working with, and an idea of what kind of stress we're going to put the athlete under, right? So if we look at a plan like something designed to teach somebody something, right? Now that plan is going to be structured on skill acquisition, and it's going to be structured around the idea of how people learn. So a good example of that is our rite of passage. The goal of the rite of passage is just to teach all the fundamental things with kettlebells, barbells, etc., right? So that is structured like that. Does it improve all those other things? Yes, I have consistently seen people get stronger, consistently seen people improve their mobility. All those things happen, but really that has more to do with the fact that they weren't doing anything and now they're doing stuff. Happen, but really that has more to do with the fact that they weren't doing anything and now they're doing stuff. And it's gradually getting harder, right? So it's got progressive overload built in the fact that it's designed like that. But if you look at another program like Reload is a very specific structure of strength exercises with a particular amount of volume per week building up to a taper and then a test out at the end. So before I go further with that, let's see what time it is. I meant to set a clock for this and I didn't. Keep an eye on the clock and let's make me finish this no later than 12:10. And then I'll just pick it up where we left off. All right, so if we talk about programs, if we talk about program design, what are the elements if I'm writing a plan? Okay, let's say it's for strength. What's a good time range to improve strength? How many months or weeks do I need to make somebody stronger? Is it one workout? No.
I would say at least 6 months.
6 months is a really long time, and I think you could definitely, I think you could fit 2 cycles in at least in 6 months, maybe 3 cycles in. But what do you think is the smallest amount of time you need to make somebody stronger?
2 to 3 months.
I'd say 6. You're not wrong. I like 8-week blocks. But yes, I think 6. I think 5 to 6. I've seen people get stronger in 5. So it depends on the structure, but it's pretty cool. If you get somebody stronger in 5 weeks, that's pretty valuable, isn't it? They'd probably pay you for that, right?
You better.
I mean, at 5 weeks, I can improve your deadlift by 10 kilos. You know what? That's pretty huge, actually, because if you compete in deadlifting, that could mean you crush that competition, right? Even 1 kilo could be the difference between winning or losing. And for high-level athletes, 1 kilo might be what we're working for, right? Because they're at the top of where they're at, right? It depends on the athlete. You'll see people here make gains of 20, 30 kilos, but that's because of where they started and they're adapting fast, all that. They haven't reached their genetic potential yet, not even close. Most of us will never to get there. Cool. So let's say we have between 5 and I would say the longest would be 12 for a strength cycle. And why do you think that is? Why do you think that based on my experience, I think 12 is the limit for a plan building up into strength?
Because it gives enough room for progressive overload.
Progressive overload is key. That is a big, big part of it. What are we doing in strength training when we program people? What is the thing we're doing to them? Forget about the exercise, but what are the exercises doing to the body? What'd you say?
Putting stress on the body.
Stress. That is what we do. We dose stress. Think of it like medicine, right? Too much medicine, what happens? You get sick, it's poison. Just the right amount of medicine, what happens? You get better, right? And that has to do with the body's response, right? So same thing happens with stress. So depending on the kind of work you're doing, there's a limit. There's a top right here, right? And if you're going up like this, there's a place where the next place to go is down here, right? Pavel says that you want to plan your valleys or you're just going to fall off the cliff. That's paraphrased, but it's a good example, right? Right? So what we want to do is, and there's a lot of different kinds of valleys. One valley would be within the program. Maybe here there's some valleys, some back off, some deloads, etc. But also the end of the program, the taper, the peak, and then the beginning of a new cycle. That's your planned valley. Whatever that next cycle is, that's another, you're going to step back and then move forward. And if you plan it right, you don't hit big plateaus and you don't get injured as often, right? Overuse injuries are a real thing. So the point is, 12 weeks is about, in my experience, the limit where you could build up progressively in a linear fashion. And even in an undulated, like Russian style programming, we usually do 4 to 8 week blocks on those with some kind of back off deload in there. If I was doing 6 months, then what I would do is plan just that. I would actually plan something maybe in the middle to change stimulus, maybe hypertrophy training, and then come back to a strength block. I think it'd be great, depending on the athlete. So let's say we work with an 8-week block. All right, we have an 8-week block. How do you progress the stress? Like, how do you, what do we do to make it harder? Do we change the exercise every time?
Increase the level of resistance.
That's one way. So we categorize that intensity, right? So it could be poundage, it could be kilos, it could be perceived rate of exertion, right? Right? RPE. So that's one. What's another thing we could play with? Volume. Overall volume, very much. Overall volume, individual volume within a day, etc. What's one more thing we can play with? Actually, two, really. But let's say there's 2 more things we could play with here that could change what's going on and how we can increase or decrease the stress. Got a guess? Got a guess? What's that?
Increasing like rest time.
Rest. That's the 4th one I just thought of. But I was like, I was going with 3. But we're gonna put rest in here because that really does matter more than people think it does. One more. Density. Density. And so let's talk about each of these, right? We know that this one is the weight, right? So kilograms or pounds or RPE, right? If we talk about volume, what is volume?
Amount of reps.
Amount of reps, but where? Like the total?
It could be
Kind of feeding you the answer when I said that.
Yeah, the sets or the reps.
Kind of.
I learned it on a week basis.
Yes, it can be weekly. So it could be, we can have daily volume, the total number of lifts. TNL is how I will write that, total number of lifts in a day. Could be weekly. So TNL in a week. And it can be monthly. And it can be for the whole cycle. All right. So that's volume. What do we think density is now?
I only have a guess.
Guesses are great.
Would it be volume under or over or at a certain percentage? Would it be that?
No.
Oh.
Kind of. You're kind of right. You're like tickling. You're like tickling it, but you're not quite getting there. You have an idea?
Like the amount of effort they're
Nah, that's RP. Do you have a guess?
I only know it in science. Do people done over these?
That's excellent. And this is science too, but it's a different kind of density. One more guess.
It's just like how dense and I'm related to like frequency. Like how many you're doing within a day or within a week.
Kind of. It's the number of reps you're doing in a set.
Oh, okay.
Right? So in Olympic weightlifting, typically our density is pretty low. Typically we're doing sets of what? 2, 1, 3, 4, but not like 10, right? But our volume might be high. We'll do, when we look at all the lifts you do in a day, snatch, clean, jerk, press, squat, all of those count as lifts, right? That's a shit ton of volume, but your density per set is actually pretty low. But what about hypertrophy training or bodybuilding? What kind of density are we talking about there?
A lot of volume.
It is a lot of volume, but what about the density? What's the rep range for hypertrophy work?
Typically over like 6.
Definitely over 6. Typically somewhere around 8 to even as many as 20 reps, right? For hypertrophy. So that would be a very dense set, right? So density is the reps in a set.
I'll invite you to my farm, dude.
All right. So these are, and then rest is the amount of time we rest in between. This can affect whether or not it has a conditioning effect, but also it's key ingredient for what kind of adaptation we get, right? Like most of us will know for hypertrophy training, if we're doing high density sets, do we know what the exercise prescription usually is for rest between sets and hypertrophy work?